Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, which is titled Who is Driving Your Life? Sense Control to Self Mastery. We want to start this episode with one saying of Swami, with one, this is reference from Satya Sai Speaks, Volume 2. Just as you have to eat the same items of food every day, just as you have to wash your face every now and then, the washed face being washed again. So the spoken message has to be spoken again and again. This is needed for those who have heard it from me already. It is even more needed by those who have come for the first time. Satya Sai Speaks, Volume 2, Chapter 40. With this, thank you so much for people who are joining us for the first time. And a bigger thank you for people who have been in this journey of text to transformation with us, of Gita Vahini and Prema Vahini before that. Just wanted to do a quick recap of what we have done so far, all the three chapters that we are reading, and we are right in between chapter 3. So let's take a look back and see where we started. So if you remember the very first episode, we did as like keeping ourselves in Arjuna's place, right? Being the modern day Arjuna. And we did a fun activity of being vigilant of how many complaints we do on a day-to-day basis, right? So keeping a check on that, understanding just navigating our way through those different dilemmas and understanding that surrender is not our last resort but it is our armor, right? Using it as a tool and then helping. Sorry, is everything okay? Sorry, I hear a echo. Okay, I'll continue. So I was talking about when we first started in chapter 1, we learned about being vigilant of our complaints and looking inwards instead. Learning that surrender is our biggest armor, like our we can use it as a tool and not just as a last resort, right? And not confusing that with giving up, but rather using, like, doing our best and then surrendering it at the lotus feet. And then slowly we talked about, we went ahead to discuss about changing our vision, right? Change, like flipping the switch in our brain and talking about how we can change our tunnel vision and change it into a broader view, look at the bigger picture. And then slowly, with while doing that, we understood to look inwards, feel step by step, and get more inwards, looking at our inner strength, our Atma, and finding all the different characteristics that our Atma has, which is it's eternal, it's immovable, it is indestructible, it is immeasurable, right? All these features we try to see. All these features are already in us. We are just trying to different ways and methods to ignite that, to realize that, right? To realize our full potential. And then slowly we moved on to understand our day-to-day struggles, changing learning about Sankhya Yoga, Dharma Yoga, right? How we change those, how our day-to-day life can can change into something inspiring. Like, our battles may not be as dramatic as Arjuna had, right? But we still have our share. And for everybody, their own challenges are the biggest and most important, right? So we try to deal with that on our day-to-day basis. Things or activities that have become very redundant or repetitive, we try to work through it and find motivation in that. Like, and sorry, try to understand the idea behind it, try to understand, learn to give a little more than what is expected out of us, right? And converting Krishna's guidance into principles of mindfulness and purpose, finding our purpose in every activity that we do today. Then, while doing that, understanding what are our challenges, what are those things that are holding us back, than reaching our full potential, right? And we discover that it's nothing than other than ourselves. Like our barriers are also within us. It's our senses, our mental block that we talk about, right? How do we get rid of that? And while trying to discover this, we covered this in our last episode as well, where we were talking about chapter 3, this verse. I'm probably talking a lot. Anybody from the audience wants to read this verse? Anybody wants to read it out aloud?
Then I can do it.
Sure.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 16. O Parth, those who do not follow the wheel of sacrifice established by the Vedas are sinful, living only for the delight of their senses. Indeed, their lives are in vain.
True. The wheel of sacrifice. And then we talk about the delight of the who are living for the delight of their senses. Indeed, their lives are in vain. So much context in these two small lines, right? And we were trying to discover what does it mean when we talk about operating from our senses at a very superficial level. And we have heard this from Dr. Suresh also in our earlier episodes when he talked about most of us, when we operate at a very superficial level, we just stay at the surface. That is where the most disturbance happens. And we get affected by every small little thing that comes our way. Sometimes we don't even know where that feedback came from, but that still affects us, right? That affects our mood for the whole day. Instead, if we go deeper and inwards, turn inwards and find and understand those impulses that are disturbing us, try to break it down and look at the bigger picture, that is sink deeper, that is where the calmness is. That is where these small little things will not affect us as much, at least. We'll get better at it, right? That's what this picture depicts here and shows us that the actual calmness lies deep within. And these are some answers that we got in our previous episode, where all of you answered these questions as the biggest challenges that you faced. And all these challenges shows that many of us are already aware that the challenges or the block that we're talking about is not outside; it's actually inside, and it's up to us how we navigate that and treat that. And when the question was asked, how many of you operate at are guided by the senses, most of us, being honest and self-aware, answered 75% of our behavior or our activities are according to that, right? Driven by our mind or our senses. With that, Uncle, I'm just checking if Uncle has joined the call. I wanted to ask this to Uncle as well.
He's here.
Yeah. Sairam, Uncle, thank you for joining us. Um, we wanted to just understand. Sometimes I feel that I've got it, okay, that I'm actually operating at a deeper level. I'm not as disturbed as my friends. But then something or the else, something unexpected comes and I'm taken aback, and again I'm back to square one, I feel like. So how does it look when you're actually operating from a deeper sense of consciousness? And how would I know that I've actually reached there? And how does it feel there? Can you please help us
Sairam,
understand that a little more?
yeah. So Sairam, by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagwan Baba, we all are here. You see, the whole idea is that when you're swimming in the ocean, you do not decide the size of the wave. At each wave that comes along, you just play along with each of these waves. Sometimes the waves are small, sometimes the waves are high. But if each wave that comes along, our idea is to turn the waves into spots and enjoy that thing. So we cannot say that, for example, yes, sometimes we are okay, and then sometimes when something hits us, then it reminds us, means we are not okay. That's all. It just means that so there are things things lying latent in our sight, waiting for it to loom. So therefore, every situation in this world is to remind us at which level are we operating from. That's all. When we are operating at the atmic level, or when we are operating at a deeper level, certain things that happens to us, it doesn't matter. We will ignore. In fact, it don't even affect us. We just continue looking at it and staring at it and moving on. Just as how two children are fighting over the small aeroplane, while we were children, we would have fought. But when we are elderly people, when we are already old and we aged at the age of 55, we won't report to the police station that the other child stole my aeroplane when we were 6 years old. We won't do that. We will look at that event as a very insignificant event. Why is that so? Because we have matured. So the circumstances and the situation will not mature. The maturity is only in our level in which how we perceive the problem. So that's why the topic Drishti creates Srishti. How you see the world is what Swami said. There is nothing wrong with my Srishti. There's nothing wrong with my creation. It is how you see things is what that matters. So if we are seeing a thing as a problem, you must ask yourself, why do I see this as a problem? What is it that is making us a problem? This is the analysis of our spiritualists. Not downsizing the problem, but asking, why am I being affected by this problem? It is this continuous question and query that will enable us to dive deeper and deeper into the higher consciousness of a human being. So this is what the real reason why a problem comes. And sometimes it comes once, then it comes the second time, it comes a third time, because the whole idea is to learn from one problem. If you have learned from one problem, we graduate and go to a higher standard. But if the problem keeps repeatedly appearing, means we have not understood nor solved that issue that the problem is trying to trigger in us. Can you see? That means the same problem is solved. So it keeps on repeatedly. Why is it always happening to me? Because we are still at the same level. The problem is telling you to grow up, grow up, grow up. So the whole idea of the problem is to assess at which examination hall you are sitting, which paper you are sitting, and tick the answer and move on. That's the idea. That's the whole idea of the problem. That's why Swami always said, past is past, past is past. Don't make a big issue out of it. That's the whole attitude of. That is the real reason why we should function at a deeper level.
So much, Uncle. Yes, the part where you said when you don't understand the lesson, when you don't take the teaching, that keeps happening over and over again. Yes, that means I've not learned from that situation, and that's why Swami is presenting that opportunity many times. Thank you so much for sharing that. With this, let's go on a short ride, and I hope many of you will find yourselves in it, and you have found yourselves in a familiar situation.
Imagine a bus setting out on a long journey. The bus is large, powerful, and capable of reaching a beautiful destination. But there is one problem. The driver has never been told where he is supposed to go. He has a steering wheel in his hands, but no map, no GPS, no training, and no clear destination. As he starts the engine, the passengers immediately begin yelling their requests. One passenger points out to a beautiful sight through the window. Another passenger smells food from a roadside restaurant and yells to stop to eat. A third passenger overhears something from another bus, while a fourth passenger feels insulted that he was not heard. A fifth passenger leans back in his seat and complains that he is tired. Every passenger wants something different. Every passenger wants attention. Every passenger believes their direction is the most important. The driver doesn't know what to do. He has no destination, and he begins listening to whoever yells the loudest. The bus turns left, then right, then makes a U-turn, then stops, then it starts again. Hours pass. The bus is moving constantly, but it is going nowhere. The passengers are frustrated. The driver is frustrated. Because everyone is so focused on immediate desires, no one notices something important. The bus hasn't been maintained. The fuel tank is nearly empty. The engine is overheating. Eventually, the bus comes to a stop. For the first time, nobody is yelling. The driver drops his head into his hands. I've been driving all this time, but I don't know where I'm going. I've been listening to everyone, and I don't know who to listen to. I've been moving constantly, but haven't reached any place meaningful. As he sits there in frustration, a wise mechanic walks up to the bus. Are you surprised? You let the passengers drive, you ignored the maintenance, and you kept moving without a purpose. First, stop letting the passengers hold the steering wheel. Next, maintain the vehicle every day. Fuel it, tune it, care for it. Train yourself to drive. Then follow the map and, above all, learn your destination.
Right on. Most of us have been in enough calls to understand what this signifies, right? Even if it's not a bus, each of us have found ourselves in a scenario where we are going somewhere we don't know where. Things are chaotic around us, right? So if we try to draw parallels, what's going on here, you think? If the bus is the body, who do you think are the passengers? Please don't
Uh,
let me talk to myself and put answers in the chat. And Manori, I would need your help
yes,
to just
yeah,
messages,
please,
please.
we encourage everyone to write down your interpretations or your imaginations into the chat box. So we get some senses. Mali says desire, Vani says senses, desires, people around us.
Nice. True. What about the engine that powers the vehicle? Let's go to the next step. The engine.
There says mind. I see mind as the majority.
Okay. Okay. Who should be the driver?
Who should be the driver? Maybe they're saying self. Yep. Conscious, conscience, Atma, inner conscience.
Yeah.
So they're saying
And
chariot.
what?
They know well. Swami should be the
Ah.
driver. Good
Oh,
students.
that's easy answer. Yeah. Swami, do it. What is the GPS?
What could be the GPS? Any
Yeah, feel free to use your imagination to tell me what could be the full form of GPS in this context.
I have mine. You can write it down.
Mhm. The guiding principle.
Yeah, we have like the 5 human values, awareness, God positioning system.
What is the fuel that the bus needs and the training the driver needs?
So now the answers for fuel. Fuel is satsang. I hear one answer. More answers. Okay. Love, selfless service, and
Yeah,
who should
more or
be
less, you
the
all know about these things,
yeah.
right? Like our inner, like our instinct, like inside, we know what the correct answers to all these questions are. It's just sometimes who do we let us drive, right? Who do we let, where are we like falling back and where we catch ourselves doing that? But most of us know that. Again, the most important one, what is the destination? Do we know that, where we are going?
So we're waiting for the answers for what is the destination or yeah, the self-realization,
Mm-hmm.
equanimity state, Paramatma,
Mm.
destination of no return,
Yeah.
Swami's feet. Wonderful answers.
We've
All
heard
named.
many talks from Swami also where he compares this with the car and discourses where
Yeah.
he draws parallels, right? Is there any other components of this vehicle, anything else that you guys
Maybe
want to share?
we can think or what could be the 4 wheels or anything like that. And also the tires, we have all the tires, and the air in the tires is Swami compares that as the self-confidence and faith. And the four wheels are like we are driving on the dharma, the kama, moksha. So it's the righteousness, wealth, and the desire, and the moksha. It's liberation.
Yeah. Like all of you answered, I mean, this is all, so that's what we wanted to show here as well. As we all know, it's very evident, right? Like things that our senses draw us towards. And it like for few of these things are very loud and we understand these are the very obvious things. But other than this, also there are so many subtle things that lie within that cause distractions, right? Some uncertainties for some people, or for some people it could be any random anonymous comment or a feedback thing that did not go according to your thought process, right? Things like that. And then comparing what it should be, right? These are your passengers, but they should be tagging along with where you want to take them and not the other way around. Where your engine, like you all mentioned, is your manas, right? And driving by your intellect, your buddhi, and GPS, like everybody said, the guiding principles or the God positioning system, or all these guiding principles and Gita, all these texts, all the Vedas that Swami has given us. And in order to keep this journey going and smooth, we have to fuel, we have to add that sadhana and continue in this journey of ours. Right. And since we have Uncle here, who better to explain us that? Uncle, would you please elaborate on this?
Yeah. Really beautiful, firstly, the analogy is excellent because it really can show. And this is how actually in life, in spirituality, we look at the various things that is happening in our life and equate that to finally everything should point towards going to God. That's why Swami said, universe is university. So the whole universe is a lesson to teach us. So you used a bus as an analogy, and how the analogy is to go towards this. So in the ancient spiritual way of teaching also, they use the natural symbols to point towards God, like sun is always worship. The reason why sun is worship is not because the sun is worship, because the sun is the closest thing that can represent an incredible, luminous Atma, which does not require any other light, but by itself gives the light. And as a result of that light, the whole world moves around. So it is regarded as the Atma. So the gurus will point to the sun and worship the sun for that particular purpose as a symbol towards understanding our own Atmic consciousness. Like that, the bus that you have used, this is a beautiful example. Even the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha that Manohari explained just now was also the four wheels. You see, the alignment must be correct. If the one of the wheels, the alignment goes off, again the car will the whole bus will be not aligned. So dharma and artha must be aligned. Artha means wealth. You must earn wealth but align to dharma.
Right.
Then the two wheels will go nicely. The other two wealth is artha, then kama, moksha. So you must have kama, which is desire, but desire only for liberation. So when you desire for liberation, that back alignment is correct. So the front alignment is correct, the back alignment is correct, the bus is no problem. So earn wealth according to the dharmic injunctions, and then have a desire only for the liberation. Then the whole bus will move along. Then the driver just continues to go. So if the driver keeps on listening to the senses, your buses are going to stuck somewhere. It's going to be hitting somewhere because the senses have driven by their own lust and passion will hit the lorry, hit the bus in any direction, and then you will have accidents. You'll have all kinds of things happening. But if the driver, if the owner of the bus says, "Excuse me, this is the time that the bus must arrive, and this is how you should go," it's very clear instruction. When you have clarity in spirituality and you know exactly where to go, the senses may make a lot of noise, but you are not paying attention to the senses. Passengers can make a lot of noise, but the driver is not listening to the passengers. Why? Because he knows exactly where to go. Why? Because the owner has told him. Owner means God. So these instructions that has given to us, which is through the scriptures, through masters, through teachers, all of them give us very clear direction how to take the bus towards. So the driver has that particular direction. You have nothing to worry. You just keep on going all the way until you reach the destination, and then you drop your passengers wherever you want to drop. So this is how to do. But the real reason why it goes all the way through is because, when we go to the Sai Center, or we go to once a week we come, or once in a month we come, or during Baba's birthday we suddenly appear in the center, or during Guru Purnima we suddenly appear in the center, and all the rest of the time you're working, and then shuttling between house and house, and then suddenly we are so worried. We don't know why these things are not happening, why these things, and then we are stuck in the highway. Why we are stuck in the highway? Because there's no fuel in the car. When there is no fuel in the car, of course, you'll be stuck in the. What is the fuel? The sadhana. Regular scripture reading, regular meditation, regular attendance. When you have regularly, you do this, the car is right at the top of the service, you find that you will not get stuck in the jam. But we abdicate these responsibilities to the vehicle, and then we get stuck somewhere, and then we blame, oh, yo, why am I stuck? Why am I stuck? Regular sadhana is not done, fuel is not put, maintenance is not made, bus will stop somewhere. So this whole analogy of the bus is very powerful and very real, and we should really integrate this into our own lives. Saira.
Thank you so much, Uncle. You mentioned about the spiritual discipline and how much it matters. The fuel is so much required. So, before even we go to our further discussions and breakout room, we wanted to see where we stand today, at this point of time. Like, how is our own spiritual practices working out? How are we like dividing our time among that? There are so many different processes and methods that Swami has laid down for us. So before we move any further, we just have a Mentimeter for everybody, just a quick poll to take, just to see, just to assess ourselves, like where we stand now, and then later we can look back and see how, if that needle has moved a little bit. So please feel free to join the Menti here while I switch screen, and I'm gonna share the results here. Let's start the presentation. So if you did not scan the code there, you can scan it here, and please key in your
in the
answers.
chat box.
Are you able to? You can see the screen, right, with all the options that we have here.
Yeah.
Okay, I see 10 people have logged in. Yes. Okay. Please keep them coming.
Reading Sai literature means every day you read Sai literature. Every day you literature. Study circle means you're very enthusiastic to attend the study circle, like that. Silent sitting means every day you do sitting down meditation, silent sitting, like that. So this is how sincere you are in your practices.
Okay. Few more people. Let's get the answers in, and then we can.
Actually, there are about 60 people, I think, on the call, but there are only 18 people. Am I right, Sai Data?
Are we getting some? Yeah, that's what I see. I mean,
All of
it's
you
not
tried.
like you have to give your name, so just something for you to keep.
Yeah.
Are there, like, are you having any issues joining the Menti? Please feel free to put your answers in the chat. But yeah, I would encourage you to feed your answers anonymously. You can do that and see.
Yeah, none of us will know what it is, but it is real. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we'll
Okay,
get
okay.
more in participating in service activities.
No, some of them are on the phone, so maybe
So
Ah,
can't scan,
okay.
it seems. So you can go to that website, sister.
Oh,
It's
yeah, you can do
posted in the chat
menti.com
box.
and then key in the
Enter the
code
code
if
because
that
I did
works.
the same way.
Okay.
Like Anusha's sister pointed here, right? Menti.com and just enter that code.
Oh, is the scan not working? I thought, wait, let me open it.
No. If people join
Scan
If
is
in
people are on
working,
phone,
phone,
but if
got it.
they're on the
Okay.
phone, they can't scan.
Ah, yeah, got it.
yeah.
we should
Mm.
encourage as many people to come in. Huh?
Mhm. And the number is going up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you so much. You
Very
can, as you see,
perfect.
this is open, so it'll continue.
Yeah.
Going back here. Manoli, you wanted to,
Yeah.
you can,
Let's now get into a breakout rooms. We will quickly, we'll have a detailed discussion on these practices, which are like four yogas, uncle says, or the other ways like three paths, Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, uh, Bhakti.
just to see where we are at,
Yeah.
what's working for us, what's not, what are the things that you're hesitant about, just
Yeah.
understanding a little more, and then we can come back for
And what
the
are the
Q&A session.
obstacles? And also,
Yes.
let's get into the breakout room.
Can we open the breakout rooms now? Thank you.
Sai Ram, welcome back from breakout rooms. I think we have 47 participants. I think we are good. Maybe we would like to hear from all the breakout rooms what are the biggest obstacles in being consistent in our spiritual disciplines that we are seeing. So maybe room one.
Uh, Sairam, can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, we had a very active group. And so I think people are doing good with the prayers and, the seva and all that. But I think people have questions regarding some people, how to sit still during the meditation because the mind is all over the place. So, we are very comfortable doing seva and all that, but the meditation was a little hard, it seemed. And also, one of the participants shared, like, she's having the dust time between 5 to 8. And I think she's an elderly lady, so that time is somehow very hard to get through. So she's doing all the other like sadhana and all. But then I was just curious, like, why is that? Just that 5 to 8 in the evening is a little hard to get by. So that was one question. And also, one of our participants shared that, we are doing our regular prayers and all, but how can I take it one level higher or deeper? Right. So I think he's does his clinic work, so he tries to see uh, Baba in everybody. So I think just trying to take our practices one level deeper is something that was really nice. So
Mm.
yeah,
This 5 to
Sairam.
8 p.m. also about the meditation, right?
No, I think it's just like just being very restless during that time.
Okay.
So it was it due to is it due to something like I was
Yeah, with
just
the
so
age
curious,
or
like
any physical.
age or yeah, or something from the subconscious. Uh,
Thank you so much, sister.
thank you.
Let's go to room two. I'm noting down the things and we can ask all together to Uncle. Room two. Um, I hope I'm room three. I'm not room two.
No, it's me. Sorry, I was not able to unmute
Okay.
myself. Saram. Yes. Group singing or devotional activities were the common, a very popular one in our group discussion. But a good thing that we touched on all the practices. Everybody has tried in some capacity or the other to get involved in these spiritual practices. The other thing that came up in the group was not to stress on like doing everything very particular how it is asked, but don't make that stop you from starting something, just
Mhm.
to like start doing it first, and then as and when you keep repeating yourself, you become better at it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And instead of
Not
and make
first day
one thing.
perfection.
Yeah. So like as and when you keep practicing, it only will improve. But just start and things like I should be good at one thing rather than putting my hands in many different things and then not being able to cover all those things. So probably that was one part which we were lucky that Uncle joined our breakout room, so he was able to clarify a few of those things as well, and how what is the natural progression of these practices as well. But yeah, these were the main things that was discussed in our group. And hurdles mostly about people are struggling to keep it consistent with the other things going on in life.
I think we would love to hear brother talk about that to the main room, like whatever
Yeah.
he shared with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe we just add that. So what we said was some people are taking study circle because they're compelled to do it because they are supposed to be study circle coordinator. Therefore, they have preparing and they're coming. So it's compulsion. So initially, in some cases, it will be compelled. That means I have a study circle, so therefore somehow or other I read it and I prepare myself and I come for the class. So that is compulsion. But eventually, because Baba said, my life is my message, expansion is my life. So if you keep on going for bhajans or keep on doing one spiritual activity, the natural consequence of that is consciousness will get expanded. When consciousness get expanded, what critically happens is that it'll trigger other things from coming inside. It'll trigger your consciousness to come inside. You'll trigger inquisitiveness to come as a result of your consciousness. Once inquisitiveness starts coming inside, you'll start to know why. Then that inquisitiveness grows. Then it's no more inquisitive, you're just love. I love that. I just love. I want to know more about him. I love him. I need to know more about him. So that comes love. After love comes inside, then you'll come to a point whereby whenever there is anything that requires, because finally the scriptural reading is that you and God are one. So why am I getting angry? Why am I getting upset? So therefore, the whole text is used for transformation. Yeah. Why am I like this? So every scriptural text is to do for refining purposes. So then that becomes, you ultimately understand that you're not reading for the purpose, you are just subtuning yourself towards achieving the highest. So the whole scriptural reading is a real process, and it is become, then this is how, remember, your 75% of your information is at a superficial level, it's at the sensual level. So you want to go deeper to the atmic level, there's nothing else you can do except to read, or to continuously listen to him, or continuously understand him. Then only you can go deeper and deeper inside these things, you see. Then you will do more and more meditation, more and more silent sitting. So these are the avenues for us to grow. So growth is like that. Natural growth must be like that.
We can go to the next room,
Yeah.
Hari.
Yeah, room 3, so that's me. In our room also, we have everyone doing almost all of them. Meditation, service, reading, bhajans, all they are doing all. But the obstacle in like one thing, two things came up. One, meditation to do it consistently due to their health and age factors. They're saying physically they're not able to sit and still like that. Uh, the other is also with the age struggling. The other things was like reading, they start with very enthusiasm, but that fades away and they're not completing it.
Consistency.
Consistency. So these two are our obstacles from our room, is what room 3 gave.
Yeah. So
Uh,
So
if
go to the
reading
next.
if reading is an obstacle, or if reading, then there's a lot of hearing, because now everything is now on podcast. You can put
Hmm.
on video, you can listen. So at what point the whole idea of this information must get inside, not necessarily through the eyes, but you can get it through the ears as well.
Yeah,
So
actually
yeah,
that's true. They're doing that because she is having hard time to read, so she kind of joined in the
yeah.
podcast and kind of reading that. That's a good one. Maybe we'll go to room 4. I think that's the last room, right? And then we can, 5. Okay.
Two more rooms, right? Yeah.
Okay. Room 4, please.
Yes, I think the practices, everybody was doing all the practices quite they like all the practices. In terms of issues that people had, it was consistency with a few of them, where consistency was lacking, and that's something that people are working on fixing it. And some of them have even overcome that by constantly thinking about Swami, singing a bhajans, and being peaceful. One of our participants was saying that apart from consistency, like following Swami, reading Swami's literature is not as attractive as listening to Swami's stories. Like when people are telling Swami stories, that is more interesting. And reading the literature was not so attractive as that. But they do try to do that. And since we all live in the cold part of the world, for consistency, the main cause was identified to be weather. But otherwise, everybody was really happy to do all the practices, and we had some good examples of impact. Sister Preeti was sharing how singing 100,000 bhajans was a goal that they wanted to achieve, where every devotee was supposed to read two to three bhajans offered to Swami, and then how it was beautiful inspiration for us to practice some of those things, where you start the day with Swami's reading and then end the day with offering everything to him. The whole day is run by him, so no feeling of guilt. So that's another thing, right? With consistency, how can you live without feeling guilty if we remember that Swami is the real doer and everything falls in place? Thank you.
I didn't understand about the weather.
If you have to get up in the morning, brother, it's really cold. And if you have to get up and do that, it's
Oh,
an issue. And then the cold really gives you some limitations.
seriously? Oh, I see. But I thought the houses are now very, you have the I didn't know that oh, I see.
Yeah, we have
We have
ventilation.
heat, but still it's hard to get out of the bed at times.
You know, in the Himalayan mountains, they go and dip in the Ganga at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and then they shiver and come and sit in front of the Guru, and the Guru will say a mantra, then they'll be shivering like that. But the icy cold Ganga, that is how the tapas should be. Anyway, the whole point is that whatever said and done, the consistency is what sadhana is. Consistency is sadhana. Not one time you do and then 3 weeks later another. That irregularity is not sadhana. Sadhana means like going to the muscle gym. You don't go to the gym once in a year, once in a month. You don't go there. You go two, 3 times a week. Even the trainer asks you why you didn't come the other day. You should come, because only when you go consistently the muscles will develop. So like that, this consciousness muscles will develop only when you have consistency in the application of the knowledge. Number two, when you read the scriptural studies, or when you read the scriptures, the beauty of that is that the whole idea of reading a scriptural book is not to read the scriptural book. The idea of reading a scriptural book is to contemplate. So the whole science is, that's why Swami said concentration, contemplation, meditation. We must get into this contemplative mood. So the contemplative mood is obtained by when you first read a few lines of that. Then you must start to extrapolate. What does it mean when your teacher says this? What does it mean when the teacher implies this? What is the consequence of this particular thing? These are the kind of thinking that must come into, so that you can pull and tease what the teacher is trying to say. The real reason for that is because spirituality is very, very deep and the words are very limited. So every word cannot convey the exact meaning. That's why we need to contemplate to grasp the subtle meanings of that. So you'll find, so when you, that is why in spirituality, the word is revelation. Revelation means that the certain things, when you contemplate, it reveals to you. So this revelation is what that we are looking for. So this that's why Shruti means it just reveals to you. Oh my God, oh my. So when the revelation comes, that's when the insights comes in. When the insight comes in, the picture will come. Then another picture will come, and then another picture will come, and then another picture comes. When the whole picture comes in, oh my God, that is what. So that hits your brain and says, oh, this is how it is. So that is what, this is how in science also they do. It's nothing spiritual. It's in science world also, they come to this, but in science, they never talk about revelation. The English word that they use for revelation in science is called breakthrough. Because they're too shameful to use, oh, this was revealed to me. They'll never say that. Oh, this is our latest breakthrough. And being in the science field and being in the spiritual field, I openly declare that this is how it happens in the science field also. Sometimes when we're doing certain things, the insight comes in. The insight comes in, and so the scientists will find difficulty to explain the rationality of jumping from point A to point B without going through point B and point C. That understanding is what is called breakthrough. So scientists will unashamedly tell you it's a breakthrough, but spiritualists is not like that. They will declare that it is a revelation. See the difference? Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what, so our job being a spiritual scientist is for that purpose. Number two, for those people who are actually finding it difficult, like to read Swami stories, so you enjoy Swami. Everybody likes to read Swami stories and all that. But what goes into reading this is mechanism. So now you see a doctor trying to understand the patient's difficulty, has to understand the mechanisms of why the disease is there. So he goes through medicines, he goes through that, then he helps people, isn't it? So our main concern is to help people and help ourselves also. So sometimes in trying to help ourselves in a certain predicament, or even trying to help somebody else in the same predicament, what we must understand is why is he like this? So why is he like that? So you need to understand the mechanism. So mechanism understanding, or this system of thinking, logical approach, all that comes into the scriptural reading. So why Swami said like that? Why we need to understand that is because it helps us to understand ourselves. But more importantly, it also at the time of help, when we ask something like that to somebody else, they will also be able to explain to us. Because every one of us goes through life's problems. Let me tell you, everybody in life goes through problems. Sometimes the best knowledgeable person also goes through a problem, and he himself forgets himself. He knows the knowledge. Arjuna, don't forget, he knows all the knowledge. Arjuna was chosen. He's not because he completely knew the knowledge. That's why he forgot that knowledge at that point of time. Krishna was. Remember how you started this session today? You started, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord. The song was sung. Why is that? Because you're trying to, we forget. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves. In Arjuna's case, Krishna was there to remind him who he was and what he was, and he was able to bounce back again. In the same way, that in our own predicament, the depth of our problem, we forget. That is why we must be surrounded by good people, satsang. And then when we are down, and then somebody must tap on our shoulders, hey, come on, man, you are the one. Then he taps it, the encouragement comes in, the veil of curtain moves off, the illusion drops off, we know the reality, we are bounced back. That is why we are equipping ourselves with all the knowledge, and we continuously keep ourselves, so that people who go through this particular problem must be reminded about the higher reality. And that is what satsang is for, because we all are going back to him. So this is why you need to read. So when you understand the rationality of why you need to read and understand, you should know that the torchlight is going to be in your hands. So in somebody else's darkness, you have the power to shine it at that point of time. That is called service. When someone is in trouble, when you shine the torchlight, you are the greatest service that you can ever do is that service. Soup kitchen and all that is good service, but this type of service, when the right person is right at the problem, you come and tap him and show him Swami's wisdom or spiritual wisdom. That torchlight that you have, you must know how to shine. That torchlight you must equip. That is why you need to read the scriptural books.
So we all become the torchlight.
Correct. We all become the torchlight, yeah. With battery of.
With battery.
Sometimes you shine, battery is not there. Because how to shine? Must put
That's the sadhana, right? Yeah, okay. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Sai Ram. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Okay. I live in Alberta, Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I just would like to add that besides reading, when we experience something, because that's all, when you experience something, it's always good to question, what lesson am I learning from this experience?
Yes.
And I've always watched different kinds of shows, the comedy, the family ties, the English shows. And I've always, somehow, it's not me, Swami put it into me, always asking, what did you learn from this episode?
Yeah, very good now.
Because every episode teaches you a lesson. Yeah. You watch Cosby Show. These are old shows I'm talking. I don't know about new shows. But it is nice to ponder, not only just reading Sai literature, but any experience you have in your life, good or bad or otherwise, is to kind of ponder, why did I have this experience? What was I supposed to learn? And believe me, it has made me think a lot and try to find answer. And often, if I don't find the answer right away, Swami gives it to me one way or another, via something that I watch on TV, some like Aravinda Balasubramaniam or anybody talking of their experiences, very similar, and I get an answer from them. Or as I pick up a book and I read. It may be Sai literature, it may be any metaphysical book, any kind of literature, even Satcharita. Nice. And or somebody is talking about their experience and it is very similar and it answers.
Nice.
So, besides literature, I think people should ponder about their experience in life.
Very
Jai,
good.
thanks
The
for
way,
letting me
yeah.
speak.
So every experience, that's why Swami said universe is university. Every experience you have to ponder and wonder why this is lesson has come to me. What is it that I should learn? As you said, even watching a TV or a movie or whatever, at the end of the day, what is this movie teaching me? What is this series teaching me?
Exactly.
That's something that's very powerful. Yeah.
And then we share it. Because
And
when
share it.
youngsters come and say, why is this happening or whatever it is, you see,
Yeah.
then that is a seva that I feel. Because then
Sure.
I'm able to share what I went through and how I managed and what Swami taught me, kind of a thing,
Sure. Sure.
It's not me, it's Swami, but this is how he gave me the experience. And this is what I learned, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, thank you. You might be one may think why only few sadhanas that we have written there, but they cover everything and they are not chosen arbitrarily. They are coming from specifically from this 9-point code of conduct that Swami gave years back in 1970s. Swami formally made this like a document, and he gave, this is the 9 codes that I want every member to follow. And that starts from meditation, prayer, and singing at home, and participating in the center activities, that is bhajan, service, and study circle, reading Swami's literature. And seventh one is like speaking softly and lovingly with everyone, and not indulging in talking ill of others, especially in their absence. And the last one, but not, it's very important, it's like sealing on desires and striving continuously not to waste time, money, energy, and food. With all these things, Uncle, a question for you. I know there's also how to take one step deeper, because most of the audience are doing one or the other, all of their covering, but the
We
consistency.
didn't hear from room 5.
Sairam, Room 5's thoughts were very similar in a sense. Devotional was very easy to go. Service was hard for some people, but we also had beginners and advanced learners in our group. So we kind of shared resources and we shared thoughts on what are some practices that work, some strategies that we can use. Definitely, as Room 1 Advaita said, meditation was the hardest. So I think we can go back to that one to address why it is hard. But more importantly, Uncle, to what Manohari's point, we can actually continue. Why is it important that we need to do multiple of these practices? Why is it like that? Why don't we just do one? And why can't we just do one and that can fit every box? Why did we have all of these little categories in order to be wholesome and fulfilled?
Yeah, because the temperament of a human nature is different. For example, there are some people who are extremely contemplative. Such people, they prescribe the study cycle. Some people are extremely devotional, so they prescribe the bhajans. Some people are extremely rajasic, so they describe the sadhana of service. And some people are very, very meditative and very, very, so they become dhyana. Entry point depends upon your human personality. So let's say a person who's extremely rajasic in his guna, you cannot ask them to sit down for meditation. It'll become, you violently will move away. You won't be able to. Some people who are extremely in the spiritual devotional part, for them the reading may not be too appeasing. So entry point into the whole treasure chest is not going to be the same for everybody. But we enter, the idea is to enter. That's the whole idea. That's why in some Hindu temples you will notice there are four gateways to come into the temple. You can go the left way, east way, south way. You can come inside in any way, but firstly you get inside. Once you are inside this temple and you appreciate the whole thing, then you look at your other side. Yeah, there's also another entrance, the other side. So your explorative mind will start to take place. Then you see what happens in that way, what is there available if you go there, what happens on the southern side you go where.
The
So it is called,
inquisitiveness that you
yeah. So
told.
yeah, inquisitiveness starts to develop. So you start exploring. Then why is it that he is able to sit down quietly? So you look at those people sitting down quietly and the eyes is tearing, tearing, and he's sitting quietly. What is it that he's experiencing? So the question comes, what experience you are having that I am not having? How do I get that experience? You see, that is what the whole idea is. Then the person goes to he does so hours and hours of seva, and he's, how do people do this? How do people move and get their lives so much anchored into service? I just sit down and sing and sing and sing and sing and sing. Why am I not inquisitive enough, or why am I not having enough energy to go? That is why I must move away from my comfort. The whole purpose of spirituality is get away from the comfort, because when you're comfortable, you close your gate, you close your cage as well. So don't lock yourself in the cage. That's why Swami said, love my uncertainty. Go into areas that you're not so sure of. That is how to develop that. If you're not so sure in meditation, that's where you should go and sit down for a quiet while. And all it just requires you is no need to go experience high yogic. Just be vigilant, just be happy sitting in front of the altar. That itself is good enough. Silent sitting. Let me say, every day I sit for 2-3 minutes in front of the altar. I try and quieten my mind. I make attempts towards that. This Swami said, effort is proportional to grace. See, if I cannot get everything ready-made, I must make effort, isn't it? Amma, I don't like mathematics. Amma, I don't. No, son, you have to sit for mathematics paper. No, Amma, I hate mathematics. I hate. You don't. Will you allow the child to go like that? You will go for tuition. You will sit with. You'll get the best cousin to come and get best friend. Somehow he should be fascinated by mathematics, and he goes into the exam hall. He gets 40%. See, you pass. Hey, you passed the exam. Now you try. Okay, you got 50. Hey, very good. Hey. See, you encourage, and finally you get 70, 80%. How is that possible? Because you don't do what you like. Like what you do, Baba said. Don't do what you like. That's a mantra. Like what you do. So I don't like to sit for meditation, but I take attempts to sit down for a while. 3-4 minutes, I just be silent. Then every day I intensively sit. That consistency that I sit down, I will slowly get a habit of quietening my mind. Then the mind will say, hey, what's wrong with you? I'm trying to push you away. How come you're not getting away from it? I said, no, listen, I'm the master. You are listening to me. You quieten the mind. Mind is like a wild horse. You tell the mind and tame it down so that you're able to control it. Like that, when you read books, three lines you drift and then your mind drifts. Then you say, hey, listen, no, come back, come back, come back, come back. So you force yourself, and then slowly a fascination starts developing. So the whole idea is that fall in love with God, or in this case, rise in love with God, simply means that each of us will move inside and help to understand the different facet of spirituality so that we can have a wholesome development. By the way, if you just do only one sadhana, it's like, okay, can you just go to the gym and just do this? Keep on doing this. Can, but what happens? The muscles in the hand will become so big and large, but it will be not proportionate to your leg muscles. It looks very awkward. So that's why you have to also do the leg, also you have to do this, also you have to do, then you have to stretch. Then only your body proportionately will become good. In the same way, if you just do bhajan, there's one part of it will become, but what about your knowledgeable part? What about analytical part? What about your ego? Because sometimes too much of that also can develop a ego also. See, the point of the story is that you need to now cut down the whole thing and become collectively holistic, homogeneous individual personality. That is why Swami purposely introduced the 4 yoga within the framework of the 9 code of conduct. So start somewhere, but slowly develop a passion for the other one. Inquire from the people. You see the people who are meditating, you see the people who are going to say, inquire from them, interview them. What is your experience? Why you did this? And then the center, you should now encourage those people who have gone for seva to come and talk about that particular service activity, highlight the slides, talk about that. So it motivates even people who are not too initiated into service to be coming together. Those who are meditating, get them to speak about meditation, love for the meditation and all that. Those who are at study circles, for example, last Saturday, we had the 6th year anniversary of the study circle, which we did for Indonesia. And they did a brilliant, marvelous expression of lots of people did their transformation through cartoons and through drawings and all that. It was so inspiring that to see how people just pick up few lines and then they implement certain things and then transform in their life. So it inspires other people also to do the same. So our job is to get to the core of our Atma. And we are using all of us to get to our own core, because we may have come from different houses, but we are definitely going back to the same home.
Uncle, one question came up, if we can do that one thing. Is that if some fearful thoughts are preventing us from doing meditation?
Yeah. The real reason why you are fearful is because you're going to the unknown. Meditation is about going and experiencing the unknown. Of course, you'll be fearful. It is a natural consequence, isn't it? Because you don't have that experience. If you already had the experience, it's not called meditation. So when you are sitting down quietly and going within inside, the depth of what you go is unknown. There's no reference point. That's why in the 1176 Upanishads, there's no reference to what meditation experience is. The teacher will only tell you to fold your legs and hands and go inside. All the preparation for meditation is there, but no teacher ever explains to you what meditation is, because everyone goes through different experience. So once you have a standardized method to meditate, it's not meditation. So meditation is an individual experience only conferred by grace of Swami or God. So we surrender to Bhagavan. That means if you have the ability to surrender to a pilot who takes you 30,000 feet high without even checking his license, why don't you just surrender the whole concept to God and let him lift you into the higher realm and enjoy the whole beauty? So move away from, that's why Swami said in the Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, the first quality we must develop is fearlessness. You see, that's why he started the whole thing by fearlessness. So confidence is developing the fearlessness. Like small child, leave yourself in Swami's hands and enjoy the whole process. Roller coaster, why you go to roller coaster? Because you enjoy the uncertainty, isn't it? If you know the map, do anybody sit down and study the map of the roller coaster? That means you don't know how to enjoy the roller coaster. So roller coaster is to let go and then go into the thing, ride you, and then you just shout and scream your head and then come back. Hey, so nice. And then again you go through the same ride. Why? Because you enjoy. So if such a beautiful experience is waiting for us to be enjoyed, why don't we take it?
Wonderful, Uncle.
Sir, one question to Dr. Suresh. How can we obtain your book? Any ideas?
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote this book called Template to Contemplate. Okay, it's going to go into the Amazon. In fact, they're waiting. I'm the one who's delaying it. So I already submitted. I hope that hopefully by Guru Purnima, you will get it in Amazon. Then I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, by the way, I like to congratulate Anusha for that bus thing. It's very nicely done.
The concept,
Yeah, very nice.
Swami worked through her and she gave the idea
Very
from her life itself. So now, because now we understand meditate. So fuel is so important, right? So the fuel is nothing but our daily sadhanas. So we need to have our fuel, we need to maintain our bus, only then we can keep going. So how is this meditation, chanting, journal, or any other things that we are doing, service, all these are the fuel. And with that being said, the driver will be actually also focusing on the GPS and not about the senses, but he'll go to the higher. What is that higher and all? We know that it's the owner, the uncle also mentioned it's the Swami. So with that focus, let's start continuing our journey. Maybe because of the time lapse and all, we can pause here.
What about the
Saram,
next? I thought you were. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had the mentee, but since we are over time, like 8 minutes, we were thinking we can, first of all, a humble request to everybody to try something new, just step out of a comfort zone a little bit and see what we can try, and maybe like make a commitment to yourself to try something that you have stayed away from, or just to, like Uncle said, sadhana means consistency, right? So if we are not able to consistent, we cannot count it as our sadhana, right? So if we can continue some of those and take a step up with one of these sadhana, we can come back our next episode taking that as our homework and see what we were able to try new in this 1 week. So then we can compare with our mentee result and see how we did, right, from last week, and just giving 1 week time, 1 month time again. But we can definitely check midweek how it's going and encourage each other. Sairam, and thank you so much for staying with us.
Sairam.
Saira.
Sairam all. Have a good night.
Sairam.
Great job today. Bye.
Sairam.
Saira.
Thank you.